What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Brand Builder TV. We want to teach you how to rise above the noise, elevate your position in 2020, not 2004. There's been a big change when it comes to your personal brand versus your business brand. And that's why we want to bring people on like our guest today, Donnie Hill. I'll let Donnie give us that 30,000 foot view of who he is, and then we're going to chunk that down and we're going to get right into it. But let me share with you a little bit from his LinkedIn profile. Speaker, advisor to executives, communication coach, marketing strategist, life maximizer. Love that, man. Stanford University, the Bay Area. So as any entrepreneur, it sounds like he's got a lot of balls in the air, man, and that's that seems to be our DNA. So, yeah. Donnie, Donnell or Donnie? What do you?
Donnie's fine.
Cool, Donnie. Give us a little 30,000 foot view, man. Who you are and why people want to listen to you.
Yeah, most of the time when people look at my profile, they're like, "There's no cohesion, there's no story, anything like." So tell me what's going on. And part of my world and my experience has been learning how to lead myself despite what other people say or think. I initially wanted to be a doctor for a while, and as I got into the pre-med track, I realized quickly once I got to biochem that wasn't the path for me. So I needed to figure out what I was going to do. Studied psychology a little bit. I ended up getting a degree in theater. So I worked as a professional actor. And what that gave me was really understanding human behavior and why we do the things that we do. So part of my work is picking out patterns. So then I started, I needed a way to make some additional money as I was working as an actor. So I became a certified personal trainer and then started working for a presentation skills company. And during that time, I realized that, okay, I'm learning how to help people build training programs for themselves and build certain muscles. And then on the professional side, I was working for a training and development company and learning how to give presentations to peers, give presentations to large audiences, and also speak up to executives, which was I found to be a very different type of communication. So for the past 10 years, my work has been all in learning and development. I think I was listening to one of your podcasts with John or Josh, who was talking about I was born to be in sales. I was not born to be in sales. I was born to be a teacher who's had to learn how to sell. So for the past couple of years, I worked in different industries. I'm a certified cancer coach. So I worked with cancer patients and their families for a number of years. I've been an executive coach to Fortune 100 executives, and I do communication training and leadership development work. So over the past 12 years, I really had an opportunity to bring all of my skills together, and nobody could pull it together but me. And so I'm really excited to talk to you because what I got just out of listening to some of your other episodes was you get to make it your own. And so that's what I get to help people do.
Love that, man. It's one of our superpowers, right? Once we tap into it, it's that self-awareness, understanding who you are. And the other thing that I think that just from you, that short bio and that story that you shared, not only is it self-awareness, but understanding two things, I believe, anyway, and I'd love your feedback on this, is understanding how powerful self-awareness is, and then also the evolution of your self-awareness has to be able to keep up, right? Because if I believe we're here to grow, expand, and move forward, right? And we're going to tie this into branding and marketing in 2020 because it's so relevant. But I'd love to have your feedback on, especially from your experience, on self-awareness and the evolution of that.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate because I was able to get a mentor very early on who told me, think about business and entrepreneurship as a spiritual practice. And if it's just about your own personal evolution, you're going to learn so much more than if you just thought of it as a traditional business. And so what I found in using that process is there were things that I was great at, and then there were things that I was horrible at. And even like blind spots that I had within my personal life, that once I started applying some of these principles to my own personal life, it just changed and made my life so much fuller, hence Life Maximizer. So the self-awareness piece is such a foundational piece, I think, of anybody's work, especially an entrepreneur's work, because you're going to become a different person in every project that you work on, in every client interaction that you have, in every new phase of your business that you have, and especially when it comes to sales and marketing. Depending on how your relationship is with sales and marketing, that can be a transformational experience as well. Once you figure out, okay, why is this uncomfortable for me and why don't I like it? Because it pushes up against your edges. Great. Let's explore what those edges are, right?
I love that, man. You hit on three huge things that I want to go deeper on because it's so real. Matter of fact, I'm a certified personal trainer as well. And one of the businesses that I built and sold when I moved out here to San Diego from the East Coast was a sports nutrition store. And your mentor, and I'm going to paraphrase here, your mentor can't be any more on point when he or she said to you, at the end of the day, let me put it this way, I'm a big believer in this. Whatever program that you have or somebody has, whether it's for professional, physical, or personal, if it doesn't have a foundation of personal development, it's incomplete. Personal development is life 101. So 1000% I agree with that. And I'm a big believer too on it's not what you do, it's truly how you do it. So when I would have people come in to my sports nutrition store and say, I'm going to lose weight, I want to get in shape, I want to do this, I want to do that, I would say, great, right? Here's the deal. I can put together the best meal plan and the best workout for your goal. But unless you understand and we get rid of that dirty 4-letter word diet and we replace that with lifestyle, it's a short game, right? Lifestyle is that long game. So all this that we're talking about, self-awareness, personal development, that long game mindset relates to every area of our lives. And that's what I think people really should understand. And then when we take that further, right, is how important it is to, and one of my quotes, and I have it on all my marketing stuff, is your vulnerability is your credibility, right? Dave Daley, the monster motivator, built and sold 3 companies at 3 different industries and crashed one to the ground, went through a bankruptcy. That's my credibility, right? That window of time, there's not a university in this world that could have taught me what I learned in that window of time of falling down, getting back up, brushing myself up, and learning and moving forward. So I'd love to hear your take on that.
Yeah, when people meet me, say, God, you're such a happy person. And I tell them, yes, because at 20, I wanted to commit suicide. And it shakes people, but it's the reality. Like I checked myself into a hospital for a week because I was just that depressed. And people always ask, well, what's that have to do with business? I said, that has everything to do with business because depending on your mental state about it, it can take you out if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. And depending on what else is going on in your life, that can take you out too. And so there's a resilience and a mental toughness that I think those failures really help hone. And that's not something I was going to learn in school in my class. It's not something I was going to learn doing some kind of vocational program. It was something that I had to personally go through. And everybody has their story and their thing, and it might not be a company crashing to the ground, or it might not be going to the hospital, but there is a bottom for you. And my hope is that people don't go to their bottom, but there is value in being in the bottom.
Oh, 100%. I'm such a big believer that Knowledge isn't power. Wisdom is power, right? Wisdom is why me and you would sit and listen to a World War II veteran, right,
Yep.
on real world experiences, real world wisdom, and take that with us and apply it. And here's the key in branding and marketing in today's world is taking that in, applying it, but applying it in your flavor.
Yeah.
That's the key. It's
Yeah.
got to be your flavor. And when it becomes your flavor, you become unstoppable, right? You become that brand. And it's so vitally important for people to understand it. You shared something where somebody asked you, well, wait a minute, you checked yourself into a hospital, you were in depression, you wanted to kill yourself, you wanted to take yourself out of this journey. How does that apply to business? Well, business is life, personal is life, and physical is life. At the end of the day, right? If your business life is not going the way you want it, it's very simple, right? I'm a big believer that life is simple, not always easy, but the simpler you make it, the easier it becomes. You're
Yep.
just simply out of alignment,
Yeah.
right? If
Yeah.
your personal life is jacked up, you're just simply out of alignment in that pillar. If your physical is failing you, you're just simply out of alignment in that pillar. And I believe all three of those pillars map to one thing, the spiritual world.
Yeah.
And that's life 101. And anybody that says they question that, just go to quantum physics and I'll send you over to Dr. Joe Dispenza, the most amazing guy that bridges the mystic and the practical better than anybody, with thousands, tens of thousands of scientific studies, right? So for those practical people that are saying this is all, unicorns and rainbows and bullshit,
Yep.
right? Don't take it from me. Just go to Dr. Joe Dispenza. He'll break it down for you
Oh
much
man.
deeper than me. But at the end of the day, it's a domino effect. And the other thing that I want to share with or talk to you about is I believe that life is made up of trifectas,
Mhm.
right? And I believe that one of the most powerful trifectas is motivation, inspiration, and perspiration, but in that order. And here's what I mean by that. I think motivation gets such a bad rap with so many big influencers in the motivational world, right? They don't feel like it's deep enough for them. They
Yeah.
feel like it's very shallow. But I believe that motivation is two things. It's momentum, and everything is about momentum. Either your strongest propeller, your weakest, or your heaviest anchor, right?
Yep.
And something that gets you at the starting blocks to get your attention. Then you tie that in with something that comes from in here, which is inspiration. So that carries that motivation through and marries that together. And nothing happens without inspired action, that perspiration. But if you do it in reverse, which a lot of people do, they're taking all this massive action, hustle, grind, without the inspiration and without the motivation. Now they just chase their tail and all of a sudden they give up. And that inspiration, I believe, is that forever candle, right? That fire, that flame that will never go out. When you tie that why, when your why becomes bigger than you become unstoppable. Love to hear your feedback on that, man. You got a
Dude,
very awesome smile, very warm energy, my man.
I appreciate it. Likewise. Like it feels like you've been in my conversations for the past 2 or 3 days.
Because it's life, right? It's life 101, right? And one of the things I want to share with you, whenever I spoke last week to a group of entrepreneurs, I say, listen, at the end of the day, if anybody in the personal development world tells you they invented something new, run. Don't look back because they're full of shit. This goes back to antiquity. I'm only sharing in my flavor.
Yeah. The what you helped me connect to, I love your motivation, inspiration, and perspiration. Because what I was thinking about yesterday is I love legacy development work, and that's my term for it because I haven't figured out another term for it yet. Um, what what people sometimes they end up doing is they end up going to build, but they don't know what the hell they're building.
Mm-hmm.
And until you know what you're building and why you're building it, then you're either gonna do them in reverse order, or you're gonna stop doing it. And so I think about this. Okay, you could be building 3 buildings. Are you building a bank? Are you building a church? Or are you building a coffee shop? They all have different requirements and different needs. And if I'm not clear and don't have a blueprint and a map about, oh, here's the type of building that I'm building, I can't be inspired about it because I'm confused about
That's why clarity is power, right? Along with self-awareness, which then works off of one another with clarity, right? It's, again, another trifecta of life that I believe, and we'll go deeper on this, and I want your feedback on this, is, so I have a 2-hour routine that I do every morning. It's called the Monster Momentum Morning, and it's 4 different types of meditations. And the subtitle of the Monster Momentum Morning is Ask, Align, and Allow. Now, for those practical people, right, that again go right back to unicorns and the rainbows, let's go deeper on that. Ask, that means clarity, right? You're putting it out there and you're creating clarity, which is power, which now feeds off of align, which is inspired action. When you take that inspired action, the people and the circumstances start to come into your life in a magical way. And then last is allow, which now in parentheses means expectation.
Yeah.
Right? Ask, align, allow. Clarity, inspired action, and expect it. Expect it.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't know what to expect in this conversation. I knew it was going to be good.
What made it fun?
But this is fun, and we're only 20 minutes into it, 15 minutes into it. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it because everything you're talking about is how I'm wanting people to move and operate in the world. It can be so much easier than it has to be. I think that's one of the things that I'm starting to really think about as we were talking about the burning business to the ground and the hospital story. Is life really doesn't have to be a struggle.
It's not supposed to be, actually.
Yeah. And how do we make it more fun in business, in our personal life, in our day-to-day interactions? Like, what are the really positive, great things that we can begin just looking for and expecting? And they don't have to be big things, but it's just the habit of focusing on what's working well and what's good. And that sounds, for people who are struggling or who are depressed right now, that feels really hard to hear because I know that space. I know that space well. But there's also hope and knowing that, okay, it doesn't have to stay that way, and I can look for a little thing. It could be a kid smiling, or somebody holding the door open, anything, right?
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, and I tell people this all the time, I don't make up the rules, you don't make up the rules. Life makes up the rules. And here's what life says. Life says this: everything's about power of perception, right? So when you're depressed, when you're in a funk, right, that means life is telling you that you're out of alignment. Why are you out of alignment? Because you're focusing on yourself versus others. So when you can start to change that perception of, I went through these things, I'm going to wear those scars with pride, and now it's my obligation to share them because there's other people that are going through what I went through, and I can show them how to break through that. Now you will never hit that depression wall again. The problem is that you're not leveraging the power of perception that we're gifted with, right? And honestly, it is about going inside. It's always an inside job.
Yeah.
That's why meditation, right? And there's so many different definitions of meditation. This is coming from a kid from Jersey to go, meditation? What do you mean meditation? I can't meditate. I ain't going to do. If I meditate, they won't let me back in my neighborhood, right? That's who I was, right? Now I'm doing 4 different types of meditation. I'm branding the hell out of it because it's been the game changer, right? The other thing that helps with perception is the Daley gift list, and that's DALEY gift list, right? So what I do is I jot down on my phone, and if you see my social media posts, I share them every morning from the day before, the gifts that life threw at me. At the end of the day, I'm 35 gifts, right? And I know I missed 50, right? So what that does is the power of perception. Now what I'm doing is sharing with you that unbelievable customer service versus that flat tire.
Mm-hmm.
Get it?
Uh-huh.
Power of perception, baby. We're gifted with it, right? We're either going to use it, our heaviest anchor or strongest propeller. What's it going to be, right? Wear those fucking scars with pride. You were bad enough to make it through. Now it's your obligation to share it. That's it, man. It's all about power of perception and get yourself out of the fucking equation.
Yeah.
Enough to get you out of that funk.
Yeah.
Then, here's my thing, though. Here's what I believe is the caveat to that, though. Selfishness is the ultimate power when the intention is pure.
Yep.
So if you're in a funk, get yourself out of that circle, start to give back, but don't forget that it has to be in alignment with you, which now goes back to selfishness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's life is fucking great, man. It's such a dance. It's such a fucking dance. It's so awesome. And I believe, looking back, after they kicked me out of high school, I realized I had the entrepreneurial DNA, right? Let me give you my
please.
Right? Put up for adoption at birth in an orphanage in North Philly for the first 18 months of my life. Adopted by 2 amazing individuals, amazing human beings that were 2 generations ahead. So I was raised by the World War II generation, which is my old man. He was a 82nd Airborne World War II vet. And he said his philosophy in life was lace up your boots, get to work. Nobody wants to hear it. So I'm so blessed that I was raised. Left back in the 2nd grade, diagnosed with ADD, said I had a learning disorder, never graduated high school. And at 19, I'm sitting in the jail cell looking at 8 to 10 if things don't go my way. So, my scars, right, are what I'm able to share. Motorcycle accident at 20-something years old, could have, if I hit the different way, I could have died or been paralyzed, intensive care for 4 or 5 days. So it's life, baby. It's life. It's a dance, right? It's that fucking salsa dance with that passion. If you decide it to be, right?
Yeah.
That's it. And I believe life is constructed for entrepreneurs. It's our fucking DNA, man, right? I was told I was broke because I couldn't learn in that cookie cutter mode. Mm-hmm. I was thrown out of my mind. Thank God for sports. I'd be in more trouble, right? So that's it, man. And when you share your truth, when you share your vulnerability, when you share your story, I tell people you wouldn't believe when I do keynotes, people that come up to me, you wouldn't think in a million years when you look at them from here, how successful they look and they go, man, I really connected with your story. It was me, or my son's going through that, or my daughter's going through that, or my neighbor's kid's going through that, right? Mm-hmm. You can never believe how you connect, right? And then what happens is you build that bulletproof self-image.
Yeah.
But now you're out there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, right? And I always say this, and I want your feedback on this. So most people are terrified of being judged. That's a fact, right? And at the end of the day, life makes the rules, and life says, listen, we are human beings, and I am going to judge, and I'm going to be judged on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You ready? Here's the hack.
Yeah.
Your only job is to make them accurate. So I hear on a daily basis, when people get to know me, God, you're so much nicer than I thought because of my appearance. And I say, I even have people say, you're so much smarter than I thought, right? From my appearance. Your only job is to make him accurate. And when you can wrap your brain around that, you become bulletproof.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the I was just having this discussion with my sister the other day because she's in the process of moving from a pharmacist of 20 years to a real estate development investor.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, people don't get it, or they're asking why I'm doing it. I'm like, well, it's not their problem, and don't give a shit. And I'm able to say that now because I had to go through that own period of learning how not to give a shit in my own journey. People would say, oh, why are you doing so much? Because I'm interested in these things. And because I want to.
Well, and here's the other thing, right? And share this with your sister. I'm going to share this with you.
Yeah.
Here's what you do. You ready?
Yeah.
You go 7 levels deep. Okay? Let me break that down for you. 7 levels deep on your why. Here's what happens. You ready? The first 3 levels are here. The third 3 levels are here. The 7th level becomes magical, and it combines your heart, your head, and it brings out your soul. So now when you go 7 levels deep, I actually have a training video on this because it's part of my 90-day brand builder bootcamp. When you go 7 levels deep, now you bring your heart, your head, and your soul into it. So now when someone says, why are you doing it? Here's why, right? Now, not only does it take the pressure off of you, but it raises your vibration, and the people in return, they're like, God damn, all right, right?
Yeah.
And then when they say, God damn, he's crazy, that means you really are onto something, right? Because you're the one with the fog lights. A lot of times it's not. And I just posted this morning, one of my favorite quotes is, the darkness is only temporary as long as you keep moving forward. The only time it becomes permanent is when you go back into safety. When you retreat back into safety, because you're going against life's rules. Life says you're here to grow, expand, and move forward, right?
Yeah.
So when you go back into safety, now your subconscious says, Donnie, I told you couldn't do it. I told you everyone was right. Now all of a sudden, more and more dings into your self-image. But how you combat that, how you build that armor, is now moving forward through the darkness, because you know you are the one with the fog lights. You're the one that's going to get to that light once you keep moving forward, because inspired action brings the people and the circumstances to make it happen. Fucking magical. Fucking magical. That's it. So you have your sister go 7 levels deep, and I can share you a PDF, man. So
that'd be awesome.
It's amazing, and check out our YouTube because I did a whole training on it. Right, 7 levels deep is fucking magical, man. It's magical, dude.
I love your combination of the spiritual with the practical, because that's such a crux of my work and how I teach. But I don't hear many people talk about it. And so when I get into a conversation with another person who does, it's like, yes, you fucking get it.
Right, but it resonates with you because it's life. Yeah. That's it. Personal development is life 101. Right? That's it. That's the bottom line. It is life 101. You could try and say anything else, but the reality is, and the results show, and the history proves that personal development is life 101. That's why it resonates with you. And again, it's just stuff that I've been taught through mentors and life that I'm just sharing in my flavor, man. This is just my flavor, but I didn't invent nothing.
Yeah.
Right? It's just life 101, and life is a dance, man. And you could either make that could be your unbelievable salsa dance and that passion and that drive and that here's what I believe, man, is the reason that the immigrant mentality is so powerful and so unstoppable is because they have the dynamic duo, right? They're blessed to be here. They're blessed in the moment and they're ready for more. Right? So they're blessed and they're hungry. They're blessed and they're hungry. And it feeds off of one another. Right?
Yes.
That's it. That's the ultimate power. When you feel blessed in the moment, truly blessed and hungry and ready for more, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. So get your sister. You're going to do 7 levels deep, man. It's going to change her life, brother. It's going to change her life. She will never have to question herself again, and she will be on point when someone asks. So on point that they're going to say to themselves when they walk away, whether they admit it or not, that was a dumb question. Get it? That's it, brother. Listen, I want to be respectful of your time. I really appreciate all your time, man, and thank you for taking the time to jump on and share that real world wisdom, man. And hopefully you had a good time.
I had a fantastic time, and thank you for inviting me to be on your show.
Yeah, man. Anything I could do to help, please feel free to reach out, and I mean that.
I will.
All right. So and keep me posted on the 7 levels deep.
I will. I'm going to use that
check
this
out
week.
The video, and honestly, if you do have any questions, reach out to me, man. Thank you, brother.
All right. Thanks, Dave.